The average individual possesses less than 72 hours of caloric sustainment in their home. When the grid collapses, the clock starts on that existing supply. As those 3 days of supply vanish, starvation begins to strip away morality and logic. It creates a desperate, feral imperative to consume that overrides nearly every other human instinct. To avoid this, amateur survivalists panic, throwing wet or improperly dried food into vacuum-sealed Mylar bags under the assumption that an airtight seal equals safety. Without proper dehydration, this sealing process does not preserve the food. It creates a perfect, oxygen-free incubator for anaerobic pathogens, turning a survival cache into a localized biological weapon. True long-term survival is achieved by mastering the physics of preservation to systematically eliminate the environmental building blocks of biological decay. To master the pantry, we must control the bacteria's universal solvent, free, unbound water. Microorganisms require this water to transport nutrients across their cell membranes and sustain their metabolic reactions. Total moisture content is irrelevant. Survival depends on a metric called water activity. Fresh foods typically set near a level of 0.99. As this graph shows, a 13% salt solution by weight reduces that activity to 0.91, effectively suppressing common bacterial threats. Achieving that same effect with sugar requires a massive 55% concentration. Historically, this reduction was achieved mechanically. Hardtack, or the toothbreaker, is forged through a punishing baking process designed to evaporate every trace of moisture from the starch matrix. Thermal rendering works similarly for fats. Boiling butter into ghee evaporates the water and filters out spoilable milk solids, creating a lipid-stable calorie source that bacteria cannot use. By aggressively stripping the environment of free water, the survivor robs microbial life of the biological currency required for survival. Once food is dry, we use heavy-duty Mylar and iron oxygen absorbers to construct an absolute barrier. This halts lipid oxidation and asphyxiates embedded insects, but it also creates a new vulnerability. That specific vulnerability is Clostridium botulinum. This bacterium produces a neurotoxin so lethal that mere micrograms cause respiratory failure. It is an obligate anaerobe. It thrives exclusively in environments devoid of oxygen. This matrix shows the death zone. If a food product has a pH above 4.6 and a water activity above 0.85, it requires oxygen to suppress the growth of botulinum. Sealing wet, low-acid food in an airtight bag with an oxygen absorber doesn't preserve it. It provides the perfect oxygen-free incubator for botulinum toxigenesis. Oxygen deprivation is a powerful tool, but it must be used with mathematical precision to avoid turning a food cache into a lethal trap. Even with perfect sealing, unprocessed whole grains arrive already compromised. The microscopic eggs of the granary weevil are deposited deep inside the kernels before they ever leave the field. Relying solely on oxygen absorbers is a tactical error. Weevil pupae enter a chrysalis stage dormancy, surviving extreme hypoxia for over 40 days. To ensure preservation, the elite survivor utilizes absolute thermal lethality, freezing the grain at 0 degrees Fahrenheit for a minimum of 96 consecutive hours. This induces irreversible ice crystal formation that kills eggs, larvae, and adults. Studies from Brigham Young University have proven that grains treated this way, like hard red winter wheat, maintain their nutritional viability and flavor for over 30 years if stored in a cool, dry environment. By enforcing strict environmental controls and temperature manipulation, a survivor can effectively freeze biological time. While we engineer most solutions, one food provides its own biological defense. Raw honey exerts massive osmotic pressure that dehydrates and crushes the cell walls of invading bacteria on contact. Its true power comes from the worker bee, which secretes an enzyme called glucose oxidase into the nectar. In its natural, unprocessed state, this enzyme remains dormant due to the honey's low water activity. When honey is diluted by water or blood, the enzyme awakens. It catalyzes the oxidation of glucose, converting it into gluconic acid and a slow, continuous release of antibacterial hydrogen peroxide. Heating honey above 140 degrees permanently neutralizes its ability to generate this peroxide. Raw, untouched honey serves as a perpetual food source and an eternal medical salve. An effective apocalypse pantry is a meticulously engineered life support system. It requires the ruthless manipulation of water activity, oxygen levels, and thermal extremes. Ignoring these fundamental laws of chemistry ensures that a food cache will eventually become either a toxic hazard or a pile of insect waste. The end of the world will not forgive scientific ignorance. The unprepared will simply become calories for the microscopic organisms that understand the science of survival far better than they do.